as I go around, if I miss you, just shoot me a text or put in the chat if you want to ask a question. But I don't know if we'll be able to get to everybody, but we'll see. We'll get as much as we can. All right. So, Milo, you can kick it off with what you want to say, and then we'll do some questions. So go ahead. You're muted right now. Milo, you're muted.
Yep, y'all can hear me?
Yeah, yep, you're good.
All right, smooth. Yeah, I just want to clarify a couple things, based off, what you guys saw on Twitter. I just want to clarify that I'm grateful for that, for the U of I athletics and like the program doing their insurance safety, making sure their athletes, at least the football team in particular, with the pandemic and the current national surge of cases that are going on, they're doing, they're following the instructions that they are given, and they're trying to have a football season. And what my concern is just like, I just want to be clear that, like, I'm lucky to be at Illinois. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could be somewhere else right now, but I just want to make sure that they're working hard, so that we can return to workouts, and that all conferences need to work together to make sure that every athlete has equal access to safety and protocols that protect our health. That's where I was just trying to reach out and make sure that that's what's like the focus and emphasis was on. So, like, after Twitter, I know it took a little left turn about, is this just about Illinois? No, it's not. I just want everybody's safety to be the main protocol. Because with this pandemic, who knows where, we're going to end up in 2 to 3 months. Especially with, college football being such a lucrative sport, especially, with the NCAA. Everybody loves college football, you know what I'm saying? So I just want to make sure that everybody's on the same page, from students to faculty to coaches to, you know what I'm saying? So that's where I just want to leave that at. So yeah, if you guys open the questions, I'm all ears.
All right, I'll call on some people down the right side of my screen. So we'll start with Jeremy, and then Matt Stevens, and then Robert.
Milo, hey, thanks for doing this, man. Can you just elaborate, just as a player, what your concerns are? Was it your safety, everybody's safety? Just what are your concerns right now?
Well, my concern is more just as a team. We played last year. I'm kind of one of the seniors on the team. I'm kind of one of the older guys, and I just want to make sure that, some of the guys, like in my position, this is my last season. So I don't know some of my players in the Pac-12, or some of my friends in the Pac-12. Some like Stanford, they've allowed for that their scholarship to remain. So like if there's no football season, they start on scholarship this whole year. So I haven't really done my research, but I don't know if the Big Ten is going to allow that, or SEC or ACC. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? Just like little questions like that. I'm just trying to make sure, like, are we protected? So, just saying for future references, like, say we don't have a football season, will I still have a scholarship? Will I be able to play come 2021, and be able to do spring football, or like, it's just little things like that. Because, I do want to have one more season of college football. That's basically my answer to that.
How do you feel about, everything that's going on? Do you guys feel pressure to play? How do you feel about just the season coming up and getting ready for it? Yeah, are you comfortable with everything?
Right. Definitely comfortable. I mean, since March we've been working out, so the workouts haven't stopped. It's just the mere fact of how are we going to practice? How are we going to play? There's those kind of that emphasis of like, like no one knows, kind of, it's all up in the air. So that causes some frustration within the players, just because, we're anxious to get out there, and not necessarily feeling pressure from the coaches or the fans or anybody else or the families, but it's just more of a concern for our safety, because, they want what's best for us.
Thanks, Milo.
Yeah.
To clarify, Milo, like, if is there a scenario you could see where we get this thing going and we're playing a 2020 season, but you don't feel comfortable from a safety perspective as a football player, and would opt to not play? I mean, and for your own personal safety and your own health, is that part of the things that's going through your head right now?
Once I get a clarification of, hey, this is what we're gonna do. This is how we're gonna do our tests from for every Big Ten school that we end up playing or out of conference school that we end up playing. Then sure, go ahead. But like as of right now, no. Like come Monday, I'm about to check in. They're about to run some tests. Our head our head athletic trainer, Jeremy Bush, has scheduled, we have scheduled appointments of when we're supposed to check in and still social distance, wear a mask and wash our hands. So like that from that side, we're good. But it's just that that next level of joint practice, like fall camp. It's 30 days or 20 some days of football all day, from meetings to workouts to just everything. So it's just like it's that little in between area that we're just kind of not necessarily scared of, but like we just don't know what's going to go on.
And to follow up, do you have health concerns about once class starts on the 24th, how you're going to interact with other students that are going to be on campus and go to in-person classes, to mixed in with all the things you have to do with football? Is that part of the equation for you to say, hey, this has got to be safe for me too?
Yeah. Aside from that, I think 2 of my classes are on Zoom, and then one of them's in class, so I really don't know how this is going to go. So I need to talk to my athletic counselor, academic counselor about that. But with the students coming back on campus, that kind of just raises some more risks that can come apart. So from just from the guys working out at the stadium right now that showed up June 8th and then we got the other guys coming in July 6th. Just from that group alone, you feel me? That's a lot of guys that they have to test already. So I don't know if the students that come back in August, are they going to get tested as well? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's just a lot of ifs and whys, what's going to happen.
Thanks, Milo.
Yeah.
Yeah, Milo, I guess I'm wondering about the logistics here. Are you in Champaign? Have you I know people are coming back in groups, and we saw, even social media images of the coaches returning to the Smith Center yesterday and such. I guess the first question is, where are you at right now? And is some of this in anticipation of, hey, I don't know how this is going to go, or have you gone through some of the testing? Where are you at with all that right now?
I was in California all of March, April, and June. I got back late June. I got back to Champaign, so like about a week ago, I came back to Champaign. And as far as that goes, a lot of my teammates are still they're still quarantining with either their families or girlfriends or whoever they're staying with right now. So we all have a plan of coming back. All my friends want to come back. All my teammates want to come back. We just don't know when. And as far as like location wise, some places are more high risk than others. I was in California for most of the time, so I wasn't really leaving my house that much because of just with everything going on, as opposed to somebody who might have been in Champaign the whole time and could have, maneuvered a little bit more, I'm saying, than I could have. Because as we saw in March, San Francisco, Oakland, LA, I was on lockdown. So I couldn't leave the house, past 10 p.m., stuff like that, just like having to change my workout schedules to being at home and just adjusting. Now, it's more of less adjustment, more focused on how are we going to work and not backtrack, say if someone catches it or like having, to quarantine again. That's why I just want to know how we going to work through the process without having to backtrack.
And have you, I'm assuming you're having conversations with teammates. Some of them are back, some of them are workouts, some of them are still scheduled in July and that type of thing. What's the general mood of the team of how this is going so far?
Everybody's in good spirits. That's the good part. With everything going on in our society right now, it's a lot going on, especially I would say, with my age group, the young 18 to 22-year-olds right now, from the Black Lives Matter movement to this Corona pandemic. It's a lot going on. But everybody's trying to stay in good spirits. We're still checking up on each other. So I feel like everybody's doing what they can, but it's still a hard process, especially with as big of a deal as we're dealing with right now. We're talking about a whole college football season being put on hold.
All right, thanks, Milo.
Yep.
All right, next group, let's do Joey, Lauren, and Marley in that order.
Hey, Milo, thanks for doing this. I know you talked with Lovey and Josh in the last couple hours. How do you feel like that conversation went? Were you able to get a lot of your questions answered, or what were your takeaways from that?
I was about to talk about that before y'all asked the question, but no, both Coach Smith and Mr. Whitman reached out to me, and they just told me, if I had questions, just reach out to them first, and which I should have done, most definitely. I mean, they know more than I do, kind of in the behind the scenes aspect of them talking one-on-one to Big Ten officials and everybody that's dealing with kind of how our schedule's going on, and they just told me, if I have questions about from workouts to future plans to my situation, if I want to play or not, just tell them. They just told me just to pick up the phone whenever, especially Mr. Whitman. So I appreciate that from both of them. They're just trying to clarify if I had any problems with the program. I told them, I was like, no, I'm thankful for Illinois. I'm glad I came here. They came open. They had open arms when I got here, and everything's been kind of smooth sailing since then.
And then over the course of the last maybe month or so, we've seen a lot of college athletes maybe be more expressive on social media and feel maybe more comfortable in sharing their thoughts. Has that changed that you've seen over the course of just the time you've been in college? And where is that comfort level that you guys feel that's a platform to use?
I feel like college athletes not look up, but kind of follow what NFL athletes do or what professional athletes do. Once a pro uses their platform and for a good cause or just for change, I feel like college athletes should be able to do the same. Also, we have to follow certain NCAA guidelines and violations, stuff like that. So what we can do is kind of limited, but as far as using our voice and using our platform, I see no problem with doing that. And in the past, I've retweeted some of my friends or somebody's posts just because I like what they're doing. I like their movement, or I like, I like what they're talking about. Like in my viewpoint, I feel like if you have something to say, especially about this pandemic or about the Black Lives Matter movement, you shouldn't hold your tongue. That's all I have to say.
Thanks, Milo.
Lauren, Tate. You're muted, Lauren. Lauren, you're muted. Let's go to Marley, unless Lauren can figure it out. Oh, there you go. Lauren, you're good now.
Okay, well, I just want to know if you're going to be taking classes in the classroom. Do you know that yet? Where are you toward graduation?
I'll be graduating in December. So as of right now, both of my classes are on Zoom. And then in the fall, I have 2 online classes, and then I have a badminton class I'm excited about.
Okay, thank you.
Let's go to Marley.
I don't know if we're like,
Sorry,
say we have a football season.
Sorry, Brett, did you call me? I
Oh,
think the signal's bad.
something's happening.
Yeah,
But yeah.
Milo froze up for a second, so we got caught in mid-sentence, Milo. When you
All right, my bad.
No, you're good.
Yeah. I was like, I'm planning on graduating in December, so I got these couple more months to go, and aside from in classes, I don't know how we're gonna go ahead with that. If they want the football players to, you know what I'm saying, stay away from the general population, or if they're, you know, gonna give us the okay to go to certain classes or something like that. Like, that's a question for Josh Whitman.
Marley.
So Milo, in one of your tweets, you said there's things that you guys go through daily that aren't shown to the public. Was that in regards to a specific situation?
Oh no, I'm just talking about life in general. College student athlete, like I'm saying, we wake up at 6 a.m., have a workout, have meetings, have class. Say we have an interview at 1 or something, then we have homework due that night. It's just like little stuff you don't know what's going on, and then like just the behind the scenes. Like I'm just saying, you know, we all go through different things. Like I'm sure, you know, everybody has some type of problems in the house or something, or with family members. Just like everyday life. I'm saying, like, we're humans too. That's all that was.
And are you guys notified if one of your teammates tests positive, and are you comfortable with maybe some of the guidelines that are in place, or would you like to see more? And is that kind of what you maybe talked about with Lovey and Josh today?
Yeah, we have scheduled team meetings, and kind of those things get addressed, but I wouldn't necessarily say they talk to us all the time. So I don't know per se if there's, you know, more information out there, but what they do relate to us that, you know, so and so has contracted the virus or something like that. So we do know as ourselves as players, but like probably, you know, some stuff they do keep confidential, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. If the football season started today, would you be comfortable going out there and playing?
Is there a vaccine?
No. I mean, as far as I know.
I don't know. It's just like it's hard to say, because, you know, the football player in me wants to put on pads right now, but at the same time, like, you know, you just got to go through all these little things, like just, you know, just leaving the house to go to the grocery store. I know everybody's been kind of like a little scared to, like, man, like what if I go, you know, eat with my friend on Friday, or go out, you know, to an outdoor seating restaurant or something like that. Just like, you know, you want to do those things, but then I know, like, in the back of your head, you're like, dang, like, I don't know, like, dude, is it right? So.
Thanks, Milo.
Mm-hmm.
Go to Bob, and then Shannon, and then Mariah. Bob, you're muted.
No, still muted, Bob.
Still muted, Bob. All right, let's go to Shannon real quick and see if Bob can get that going.
Okay. Milo, are you wrestling with the idea of what to do going forward about playing?
Oh no, I'll be there on Monday. There's a little waiver like we have to sign, and like paperwork, but I'm showing up. Like a couple of most of my teammates, Jake Hansen, Baron Peters, Doug, Paucho, you know, some of those guys have already been working out. I want to join up and, you know, be able to kind of contribute. Not saying I haven't been working out, but, like, you know, working out at with your, you know, scheduled strength coach and working on your own are kind of two different programs. You know, it's just like it's a hard decision, and it is voluntary, but at some point, you know, like, what is voluntary? Like, when you want the whole team to be there, is that necessarily voluntary, or is that, like, you know what I'm saying? There's like that. It's that in between. It's that like that like this. I don't know how to say it, but it's like it's that in between stage where, you know, you kind of have one foot in, one foot out. That's how that's kind of how I put it.
Are you see these outbreaks happening at other colleges? That I think there's over 50 colleges that have released that they've had positive testing. I guess A, when you see that, how does it make you feel? And B, does it make you skeptical about the idea of a season even taking place, or taking place in the fall at least?
Yeah, you know, it does put a little, you know, does have players a little skeptical because, you know, when you read the tweets or you see it on, I don't know, Instagram or Twitter, you're like, that could be me. So that's just like, you know, you like, we share it, and like we have a couple group chats within the guys. It's just like, hey, did you see this? Did you see this? And like, we just like, if you just, you know, look at them, just like, man, it's like, it keeps on going. Like every week or every day, it's a new case or it's a new story. So I'm just waiting until, you know, we can all just calm down and have no cases, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. But I just want to make sure that at least at Illinois, we're going by the protocol, which we are. I already talked to Coach Smith and Mr. Whitman about, you know, how they're handling things, and Jeremy's doing a good job trying to make sure the guys are staying safe and you know, being protected. But it's just like, there's only so much we can do, and that's where I want to get to the point where, like, if there is something that's going to happen, like say, you know, 30 guys end up contracting the virus, then like we have to shut it down. There's no, okay, let's backtrack and see what else we can do. Like, you know, at that point, we're just like, you know, it's just, it happens.
Sorry, just one last thing real quick. I hope nobody minds, but just the idea of your tweet, you seem pretty straightforward to me. You didn't seem insulting to Illinois, but do you feel like you've been influenced to clarify, or you were influenced to make some kind of statement that you opened with?
I just seen where it went, just off the replies and the comments and some of the texts I got there, like people checking in with me, and I was like, no, I'm fine. You know, I said what I said. I tweeted what I meant, and like at the time, I ain't gonna lie, like it made perfect sense in my head. But you know, it's just like how media is. You know, people construct words differently, or different viewpoints get viewed and shared. But I just want to make sure that people know where I'm coming from, and that's it in the end. Like, I'm just, you know, I'm a straightforward person. Like, I'm gonna tell it how it is. You know, I speak what's on my mind, and I speak from the heart.
But I mean, do you feel influenced by the university or by the athletic department?
No, not per se. No.
Of your stance. Okay. I'm done. Thank you.
Mariah?
So when you said that you feel like you should have talked to Whitman and Coach Smith before you expressed your concerns on Twitter, was there a reason why you didn't? Did you feel like you couldn't express those concerns to them?
Not necessarily couldn't, but it's not like, you know, I FaceTimed Mr. Whitman on the regular. It's like, it just didn't cross my head. I'm just like, you know what, I'm just tweet, you know, usually like when I open up social media, it's not like I ask my mom if this photo is okay for me to post. It's just like, you know, little stuff like that. It was like, I didn't feel the need to run this through him, because I felt like what I was speaking on was going to address the student athletes that were going through the same situation I was going through. And then he just made me, you know, realize that my voice is a little bigger, because since I'm at Illinois, more people from Illinois are going to follow it and like kind of pinpoint it to, or try and, you know, connect the dots to something. And it was like, no, I'm just talking. Like, it wasn't no viewpoints or me being like straight anyway. It was just like more about, you know, just a general situation at hand. And then Coach Smith just, you know, just let me know. He was like, hey, whenever I want to talk about something, run it through him. He doesn't have a problem with guys going to protests, or, you know, talking about the Black Lives Matter movement or about police brutality. He has no problem with that. He just wants to know that, you know, what we're tweeting isn't going to affect us in the long run.
And you said that you tweeted what you meant. So when in your original tweets, when you said that schools are showing blatant disregard, what did that mean?
Blatant disregard meaning that, like, you know, there's a pandemic at hand. Like, how is this going to be better than us working out at our homes, or us working out, you know, with a trainer, and then all coming in at the same time and getting tested? Like, we could have had a group like week by week. Say we started this in June or something, and we only did 10 guys a week. until we hit, I don't know, the beginning of August. So by that time, we're like, okay, these guys are coming from this situation, not just a whole, let's all bring them in at one time. That's like, those are the questions I'm just like, why don't we figure out this, kind of a month ago rather than just now?
Do you have any proposed solutions or ideas for the issues that you have?
It's tough. Like, as far as like traveling, like, I don't know how we're about to get to Rutgers on a bus. Like those questions like that. Like, I can understand us playing, Nebraska and Iowa or all that, but I do have a kind of pose, like we could all have a neutral site for the Big Ten. So, what I'm saying, like all the teams that end up playing, what I'm saying, we have, say, a game Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then those teams would have to do something like that. Like, say, we play Thursday, team plays Friday, team plays Saturday, or something like that. Instead of all of us traveling all over the place, we could either just meet up at one place that we know has been, cleaned and we know who's working there, or like, what I'm saying, there's a way for us to interact without necessarily, what I'm saying, contracting stuff. But it's hard because when you go deeper in detail, it's more to it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bob, you good there? Looks like you got off.
I think I can talk now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're
Yep.
good.
We got you.
Fire
Okay. I just want to know, there was a swift reaction on Twitter. You put that out. How'd you feel about that? You got a lot of support. You got a lot of people that were not so supportive. How'd you feel about that whole deal?
Yeah. I mean, kind of when like, I feel like athletes kind of go through this a lot, but I'm say you had a bad game, you have those people that are going to congratulate you even though you lost, and then you got the guys that are going to badmouth you about the loss. So just it's just kind of playing those both sides. You kind of listen to what you want to hear, and that's kind of what I do. Say my friend tweets me, hey, good job, I'm gonna say, I like what you're doing. Yeah, sure, I'm gonna retweet that. But if someone's talking nonsense, there's no reason for me to pay attention to it.
Are you going to be off Twitter or on Twitter now, or what's your thought?
I'm just keep doing what I'm doing. Social media hasn't really affected my decision, or in the past or the future. I like to be on social media as much as you guys do. Twitter's hilarious. I love Twitter. So I'll probably be on there. But yeah, that's about it.
Thanks, Milo.
Let's go over to Nico and Scott Ritchie.
Hey, Milo, you got a lot of support from your teammates mentioning the social media reaction. A lot of guys retweeting what you had said, kind of sharing a similar sentiment. What's kind of your conversation been like with your teammates? And after talking with Coach, do you think that this might open maybe a little more open dialogue throughout the team?
Definitely. I feel like maybe next week starting up because more guys are going to be on campus. But as of right now, just like what we're talking about in the group chat, we're just like communicating to ourselves, like, are we going to have that, that support, which is, say we don't have a season, will our scholarship continue, or will we get another year back? And like just those little questions, that's kind of what we're trying to dig down deep and trying to figure out. But as far as support, now I'm getting a bunch of my guys from the West Coast, East Coast are like, we're all on the same page as, and what is the NCAA going to do for us? Because we're sacrificing, a whole, year to play football. What can they do to kind of subsidize our ends and kind of meet our requirements?
Milo.
Scott Ritchie.
Hey, Milo, I guess, how long have you maybe been thinking, about this, or maybe, having these feelings of just maybe a little uncertainty?
More about when the school started addressing that, their athletes were being able to come back on campus. Also, a couple good friends. I go to Oregon. His name is Javon Holland. He's free safety. I don't know if you guys know him, but You know what I'm saying? He went back, I think they went back like June 8th. So like I gotta I called him up, just ask him how they were, handling things, and he said they're doing pretty fine. So that kind of like eased my worries that, what I'm saying, hey, like if my friend at Oregon is doing okay, maybe I'm not too bad going back to school. So aside from like all the, what I'm saying, anxiety, I probably don't have that much anymore. I'm just trying to figure out, what what benefits are we gonna get? Like, there's no way we're gonna have football season and we can't get a little extra something.
Thanks, Milo.
Yeah.
Gavin and Carson.
Hey, Milo. I'm just wondering, do you think there's sort of a consensus among the players feeling the way you felt in your tweets today? I mean, it seemed like there might have been just from the quick reactions from some of the guys, but can you offer, maybe some thoughts on that?
Sorry, you said some thoughts on players' reactions? Yeah,
And do you think that there's a consensus between you guys about how, you feel about the big picture?
Right. Kind of. More so to say, like, I feel like all the players are on the same page as, hey, yeah, we want to come back and we want to play, but we just want to make sure that, our health and our safety is the priority, which is, Mr. Whitman he starts off every meeting like that. He was like, we're trying to make sure that our football players and basketball players and other athletes are, their safety is the number one priority. But, it's hard when you kind of don't know, you're kind of taking this process day by day. Like, it's always, okay, we got through today, but are we going to get through tomorrow? You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's the only, process we have. Like, sure, like I want to go back to workouts, but am I going to be good Friday? And, what I'm saying? Like, I start Monday, but, what I'm saying, come Friday, am I going to be good? And it's just like, those little questions that we have. And, I've been talking to the guys that have been working out since June 8th, and they seem pretty fine to me. So it's like a lot of that anxiety and all those problems and questions are kind of being solved within the guys just talking to each other. Because, like, I don't know, there's just like a lot of guys just like, hey, I don't want to come back just because I don't want to catch it. But at the same time, we have 30, 40 guys that have been working out since June without any symptoms. So that's where you got that, that back and forth kind of, I want to do it, but then what happens, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where we're at.
Do you feel like, I think someone alluded to this earlier about there being pressure.
Sorry about that. We got Luke Ford on the call if he wants to say what's up. Hold on. There we go.
Sorry. Someone mentioned earlier about there being pressure, and I know Josh Whitman has said that, there wouldn't be pressure from Illinois or the administration to return or to work out or anything, but I'm wondering, do you think that there's a social pressure to do that within the team? I know you said you really want to be there and work out.
No, I even told the guys, like, look, if there is a season, if they're evidently, we said we can play, I want everybody on the team to be back. Just because the more guys we have, the better we can be. The more the merrier, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I want the ones to be as good as the twos to be as good as the ones, threes to be as good as the ones. Like, everybody, needs to be able to play a role. That's just what I'm saying. Like, that's just from the football aspect. But, like, the pressure side, it's hard because everybody's in a different situation. Some guys are staying at home with their families, with grandmas, with grandpas, or people that, are high risk, babies. Some of my teammates have kids. So it's like, are they, are they risking their lives just so they can, play another season or collect a scholarship check when they have a whole family to think about and care about too? So it's like, that's all I'm asking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, thank you.
Carson.
Hey, the Ivy League is talking about having a spring football season. What are your thoughts if the Big Ten had a spring football season?
I wouldn't be opposed to that, but when it comes to bowl games and playoff picture and how many regular season scheduled games are we going to have, also, does it come in conflict with any pro days or the combine or the draft? Like how far are we talking into spring? Because come December, usually that's when guys start prep or start going to their senior bowls and stuff like that. So like, does that come in conflict with with the senior bowl next year? Like, that's the only questions I have. Like, I'm down to have a spring. I mean, I'd love to play in some 80-degree weather in Illinois as opposed to 10 degrees, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like the little, like, those questions that I asked before, like, are they going to be, what I'm saying, are they going to be addressed? Like, I just don't see that, what I'm saying? Fall is football season.
And do you think it's like possible potentially, like, it's week 8, and all of a sudden there's a second wave and like state governments have to like shut down the country again? What would you like? Do you think that's possible?
Yeah, I mean, as of right now, anything's possible. But say we get into week 5 or week 7 or something, or we're on the road, or we've been playing well, and then all of a sudden they want to shut everything down. I could see that happening, but we just have to stay prepared. And then I kind of think that's what the coaches are doing right now, just trying to figure out how. Say, if we do end up in another lockdown, how can we still stay productive and still, play football? But it's tough with this pandemic going on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
John Supini and Alec, I think, are the last two.
Hey, Milo, did you have a chance to sit down face-to-face with Coach today? Was it on the phone? And when was the last time you had a face-to-face with him?
Last time I had face-to-face with Coach was March. It was in March. We had a little player eval, and he just kind of was talking to me, and, he wanted to, let me know that, like, what I was thinking about next season, football-wise, position-wise, where my mind is at. And he just wants to he just was reaching out to me and basically saying that, it's the time to step up and be a leader on this team and kind of not go through the motions anymore. And that's what I kind of needed to hear at the time. And that was in March. And I was like, you know what? The season, is serious. And as far as, Jake, I know Jake's hungry. He missed a lot of games last season. And, he wants to come back and unleash havoc. So I'm excited for him too. But it's just like that's where we left off. And then today, Coach Smith just reached out to me and was just, just kind of in an understanding tone. It was just like, hey, what's going on? What's going wrong? And he just wanted to know if I had any things, against Illinois. I'm like, no, it's good. I was just raising concern for student athletes around the country. I know it's some college football players that's feeling the same way I'm feeling. And that's all I wanted to say was like, hey, I know you feel this way. If you feel this way, let me know too, because I know I'm not the only one going through this right now. So it's like that's all it was. Yeah.
What did you? I mean, do you think you had some players, some teammates that sound like they were kind of saying the same thing as you? Do they need to hear that maybe from him too, just kind of some reassurance that that it's headed in the right direction, or just some sort of a perhaps even
some sort of kind of okay, or some sort of like some sort of guidance, to say like, look, what I'm saying, you got this, we got this, we're in this together. And that's kind of what, that's kind of what guys need. I mean, at this point in my career, I'm more onto, what I'm saying, like, what can we do to better the team? I'm saying, what can we do to be better than we were last year? And as far as, as linebackers and actually all position groups, we've been meeting on Zoom individually with Coach Miles. So that's been helping us out a lot. But aside from that, it was just more, guys want to hear from their coach when, you know, when things are not going right or not, like, not necessarily going the right path. You're just like, dang, like, are we going to be good? Like, yeah. And then that's all Coach Smith said. He was like, you know what, we got your back. You know what I'm saying? We have support from those guys. And yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Alec, and then we'll get to the follow-ups.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Milo, for talking. You talked a little bit about your ideas in terms of a central location for football, but if that's not something that's able to come through, can you just vocalize how concerning it might be for you and some of your teammates to travel across the Midwest and to the East Coast when you go play a team like Rutgers?
Right. Yeah, just from traveling from, you know, from LA to, I was training in LA before I got here to Illinois, just seeing, you know, how people are in the airport, just, you know, everybody's gloved up, masked up and everything like that. I'm like, do we have to travel like that? Like, if we do, then sure, go ahead. But that's just going to be a whole process of, you know what I'm saying, putting extra stuff on and doing all that. I know we fly Allegiant, so are we gonna have 2 Allegiant flights? Because I know we're not gonna fit everybody on one plane. So it's like there's gonna be some sort of limit, like just like, you know, little things like that come to play. And these are questions way out of my league. I'm just bringing them up because you know, these are just the questions that as a player, you know, you kind of want to know. And everybody blowing my phone up. But yeah, just those questions like that, you know, you just want either an answer, some type of agreement that everybody's on the same page of looking for possibilities, new possibilities of how we can, you know, kind of work around this, and, you know, stay safe.
It's something that I think you've obviously thought about a lot, but as the season approaches and students get back on campus, not just at Illinois, but other schools around the country, how important do you think the testing process becomes for you guys to feel comfortable playing on Saturdays and going to practice throughout the week and all of those kind of things that go into having a regular season as much as regular it can be?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't think anything can go back to regular anytime soon. I've been telling my mom that. She was like, "Oh, can you do that?" I'm like, "It's not. I can't even do that no more." So from that point of view, I would just say, like, it just has to be different. There has to be the regular students do this and like football, because when you mix the two together, that's when you don't have any answers to anything. Like, okay, I'm being in class with, you know, with the general population, but am I going to go to practice right after? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we have to. There has to be some type of, like, I want to say, you know, scheduling, or, you know, we could take these classes and, you know what I'm saying, like, just has to be some type of way that they can filter this without it being kind of hectic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, last one I've got. You've mentioned the NCAA just a couple of times, and I think you and I think a couple of other players that had retweeted you mentioned that they think the NCAA could do more, or should be doing more to vocalize things and make things clearer for you guys. What are you guys kind of looking for them to do in these next couple of weeks and months in terms of making an announcement?
Sorry, you cut out. So my internet connection was unstable. You said something about the NCAA, and then what else?
Yeah, it seems like a couple of your teammates kind of vocalized concerns about the NCAA and them not necessarily doing enough right now or even going into the future. What do you guys want them to kind of do and communicate to you guys during this tough time before the season gets here, so you have a better understanding of what exactly is going on?
Well, they know. I mean, NCAA, pretty much we have to abide by every rule they say, or else, you know, we're like fined or we're on suspended or some type of, you know what I'm saying? I just want to know that the NCAA knows what's going on right now. They know that, you know, we're kind of at risk for continuing with practicing and, you know, with the playing of sports. And I'm sure they're, you know, from their perspective, sure, you know, they would want a college football season to happen, but do they really know how like, do they really know what we're going through? That's all I'm saying. Like, just to bring awareness to, what we're really going through. Like, I'm saying, like, I'm working out with, with my team and doing all this. We're still at risk. We're not superheroes. Like, what I'm saying? I just want the NCAA to know that, and just to, what I'm saying, be more vocal. And I'm saying, like, they have all the power of the world. They kind of control what we're doing right now. And just, I want some, we need some reassurance from those people that, that we're going to be taken care of the right way, and not just, put aside, or, they're like, oh, they're football players. They're tough enough. They, they can do this. They can do that. No, like, we're, what I'm saying, we're humans too. So I just want, just that reassurance that okay from the NCAA would be, it's kind of like that. Not the deal breaker, but like they definitely play a big role. Like, sure, a scholarship, and what I'm saying, it would be nice for if the football season's canceled, but like, I just want them to know that, like, I just want to know that the NCAA cares, because they haven't for a long time.
Last question I have. Obviously, you're in Champaign. You're going through the workouts of your position group, or the guys you live with, or groups of 10 or less. As the season approaches, do you think that's something that can happen in the season with the complicated schedule you guys have of going to class, of required study hours, all those different things, that you're going to have smaller workout groups or small practice groups instead of the traditional, the entire team lifts, the entire team goes to practice, the entire team goes to team meetings, all that stuff? Do you think it's possible to fit that into a student athlete schedule when you have more intimate classes?
Right. Like, how are we going to practice during the season, kind of? I feel like I want to. What was this? In the summer, we ran we did, I want to say, our OTA, or like our player ran practice, our PR, our player ran practices, and I feel like, it can be beneficial to say, like, only like the linebackers have the indoor, and then the wide receivers are on the grass, and quarterbacks are in the meeting rooms and stuff like that. Like, I see a possibility of that working out. It's just gonna be hard. You know what I'm saying? When you kind of all put it together, and, that's not necessarily like, when you practice as a team, when you practice as a full defense, there's a difference between just going through the drills with what I'm saying, going through position drills. Like, there's a difference between going through position drills and practicing. Like, it's just like, it's so much more. And as far as like the season goes, like, sure, if we find a way where, I'm saying, we can maybe get a virtual practice in, or, I'm saying, or something like that. Say, we're on Zoom, and then like, we do a walkthrough, but only, I'm saying, a certain amount of, like, say we do like half and half walkthrough, but I'm saying we're still social distancing, but like, I can do a walkthrough. We can do walkthroughs, I'm saying, just like, try and use our voice as much as possible, and just kind of communicate through the things. But it's just gonna be hard. That's it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Shannon, and then Matt.
Okay, just real quick for me is this idea of, you've mentioned just kind of there's a different standard for athletes, right? And some of the disregard that goes on. When you see schools, not just Illinois, but welcoming back athletes, or encouraging athletes to come back, when there hasn't been, at some places, decisions on students coming back, or you're coming back before students, what are your thoughts on that?
I know, like, I'm coming from just California. I know in California, all the California state schools aren't starting until 2021. So, like, one of my good friends plays basketball for Cal State Northridge. So he's not going to have a basketball season until 2021. So it's like, he's stuck in a situation where, he wants to graduate, he wants to, do his thing, but he can't even go back to school. So in the other conferences, we have, I'm saying, some SEC schools are already back. Big Ten schools are already back. And sure, like, the welcoming is fine. Ain't nothing wrong to welcome somebody. But like, they kind of put an emphasis on, like, coming back. So I know some guys, they want to come back, but they can't. So it's like that kind of puts like it's kind of hard for them because, you know, they see all the guys coming back, but they're in a situation where either they're at risk or, you know what I'm saying, they have something going on at the house, or, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's different for everybody, but yeah, I don't see any real reason wrong for, you know, for schools welcoming the athletes before the students. No.
Matt?
Milo, you asked a really smart, simple question to Marley, which seems like a while back, which is there a vaccine? You and I both know the answer to that question. By the time you start training camp in August, is going to be no. Right. By the time you start the season in September, it's going to be no. So can you foresee a scenario where you, Milo Eifler, go, there's no vaccine, there's not enough for me to feel comfortable in playing. I love my teammates, I love my school, I love my coach, but I'm not about to get this disease. I'm not about to get sick. I'm not about to affect anybody else for football. Can you foresee that in your head going, hey, look, I'm going to pass. You know, this isn't what I signed up for.
And that's just, I mean, saying that's a great statement right there. That's so hard for me to ask right now. That's kind of why I kind of started this kind of little, you know, that's why, yeah. Well, Brett asked me if I wanted to talk to them. I'm like, hell yeah. Like, I was like, I don't know. Like, if there's a vaccine, of course, I'll probably, all the college football players would be like, you know what, put me in right now. But just like, there's just, in the back of your head, just like, man, there's no vaccine. There's no real way of, like, there's quarantining. And, like, after the quarantine, I guess I'm okay, but I won't catch the virus again. But then there's long-term effects. Like, there's always this, you know what I'm saying, back and forth. Like, okay, I'm good, but not really good. Like, so that's just like, and I was talking to my mom. So my mom, as you know, she works for UC Berkeley. She's a professor. And, you know, she does a lot with health. And I'm just asking her questions. She was like, you know, she's telling me the real deal facts. And I'm like, dang, like, I didn't know it was this severe. So, but the bottom of my heart, you know, I love football. I want to play with the guys. I want to run a tunnel again. You feel me? I got a lot of teams that beat us last year that we could have beat, you know what I'm saying? You want that revenge match, and, you know, it's like stuff like that. You know, coming from an athlete, but then just like the personal side, you're just like what if this, you know, like what if I catch it and I can't go see my parents anymore? Or like just like little things like that, like, or like my parents can't even come to a game because they can't sit in the stands, like, you know, like stuff like that. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Thanks, Milo. I appreciate it.
Over to Joey.
Hey, Milo, real quick, we see with the NBA and Major League Baseball getting going, we see athletes choosing to opt out of the return to this season. Do you think that option is realistically on the table for college athletes, or are they two different things?
I mean, when you talk about major leagues, and it's like, it's, you know, there goes that amateurism. That's where it comes to play. So, you know, when you're professional, there's things that they do. You know what I'm saying? They can afford to test you as soon as you land or before you take off for, you know what I'm saying, before a game, or, you know, they can afford to put you in a hotel for 14 days and have the rest of the team go by practice, and, like, you know, stuff they can do that we can't. So that's like when guys start comparing us to NFL or like baseball or hockey or whoever's, I'm saying it's like we can't, you know what I'm saying? We're still amateurs in that sort of fashion. So that's just, you know what I'm saying? It's hard for me to picture myself there when I'm not there. And, you know, that's kind of where Coach Smith comes to play. And he's like, you know, just focus on what we can do right now. You know, he puts a lot of emphasis on that right now, kind of not looking too much ahead of you. That's when you lose track of, you know, what you're doing right now.
Thanks, Milo.
Milo, thank you for talking. Thanks for everybody for joining.
No problem.
Thank you, Milo.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Milo. I appreciate it.
Hope everybody has a safe and good 4th of July. Have a fun weekend, everyone. Catch you later.